Hey everybody, how you doing? Chris here from CAC Knives with a pretty awesome knife to show you guys today. Before we get started, the channel continues to grow at a pretty high rate, and I'm very appreciative of that. If you're not already doing so, if you guys could subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. It definitely gives me drive to keep doing this channel. I love showing off my collection and talking about knives, and I like hearing what everybody else thinks. I love reading the comments, and I've gotten a lot of awesome comments on some of my videos with other people's opinions on knives and talking about knives and things like that. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to become a further part of the knife community, and this channel is definitely succeeding with that. There will be giveaways at 500 and 1,000 subscribers. It's something I've always wanted to do, but I want to make sure I hit milestones to be able to do those kind of things. So let's move on to today's knife. We have the Spyderco Delica in VG-10 Damascus and full titanium with a upgraded titanium Metonboss Mystery Clip. Do not be confused. It is not actually Mokume. It is heat treated or heat anodized, I believe what he uses to describe it, to look like Mokume. And that allows him to make these very cool, unique patterns. And I must say, it does look very cool. Before we get into talking about the knife anymore, let's do just a couple quick size comparisons. I know the Delica is a pretty common knife out in the knife world, but you know, some people may not know the size of this beauty. We have a Arcane Design crawler here. It's pretty premium. And then a QSP Penguin. And this knife kind of falls between these two knives in terms of price. And we will get into that, of course. The knife is about pretty standard size for EDC, as you can see. It's not too big, it's not too small. It is a lock back, which means its fidget factor is somewhat limited. I can open and close it with one hand. I don't know. It's not something I necessarily want to do on camera. But I can definitely do it. But lockbacks aren't really meant to be closed with one hand. Now, that being said, lockbacks are very tough locking mechanisms. I mean, the lock is literally the metal of the knife. In a sense, it's almost like a full tang with a fixed blade. So there isn't much more stronger locking mechanisms out there than lockbacks. There are stronger ones for folding knives, but not many. The knife has a very clean look with just simple titanium rounded screws on the show side, and then obviously you got your what appears to be T6s and T8s for the screws. The Damascus is a VG-10 Damascus. I'm not sure what the other steel is that it is mixed with, but it is made in Seki City, Japan, as you can see right there, by Spyderco, who is my personal favorite production company. DPS 15. I wonder if that's the other steel. I actually don't know much about that steel. If that is indeed the other type of steel that's used, that's kind of cool that's on there. I've actually never noticed that. It is very smooth. Obviously it's gorgeous, right? The VG-10 on Spyderco's knives has done very well. This is a core Damascus, and what I mean by that is, if you can see that line down the middle, it actually has, basically what's done is there's a steel in between two different sets of Damascus, and the Damascus steels are layered on each side of the steel in the middle, and what happens is you get this Damascus that doesn't quite go all the way down to the edge, as you can see on both sides there, but gives it some, not only gives it some nice look, but it also gives it some heavy corrosion resistance. And I know a lot of, what do you want to call, cheaper companies, or budget companies have been kind of starting to move towards this thing where they also use VG-10, I think because it attracts more people, just because of how cool it looks, but it actually does serve a purpose. It's not just for show. And as far as VG-10 Damascus goes, nobody that I have seen myself in person or on video does it better than Spyderco does. Spyderco's VG-10 Damascus is amazing and one of the best Damascus out there. The Delica, of course, is a very good knife, very well known in the knife community. Perfect size, very smooth, very comfortable, very usable. I have large size gloves. My hand fits it very well, and it has nice jimping there on the back of the spine, as well as a good spot to put a finger if you really need to kind of, get closer to the blade for some more fine cuttings. It did come with a very nice mirror polished edge. I've never had a Spyderco knife come dull. I have seen a few people's knives come not all the way sharpened, but with my knives that I've ever gotten from Spyderco, they've all came very sharp. Now, as far as the pocket clip goes, the original Spyderco clip it's okay. I know a lot of people hate it. The original silver stainless steel clip that comes on a lot of Spyderco knives. This titanium knife from Metonboss, they cost between $60 and $70, depending on if you get them on sale or not. I will say it is pretty tight, but there is some space already there. If you can see between the knife and the clip. So, that's okay that it's tight. Now, one thing that did kind of concern me with the Metonboss clip is you can kind of see the line there where the clip kind of comes out. And I'm sure if it ever broke, he would, replace it. But I thought that was kind of interesting because I don't think that I've ever seen that on a pocket clip before, where it kind of looks like it was, it was two separate pieces and he kind of molded them together. I'm really trying to show that on camera, that line right there. And as you can see, the design does not go all the way around on the clip. It is just kind of, on the show side and the little bit of angles that come down on the left and the right. But I mean, you are upgrading this clip a little bit for function, but mostly for show, right? You can get a titanium clip for Spyderco knives, for about 20 to 25 bucks. But you can't get it with a Mokame custom pattern like this. And this is just kind of the build configuration I wanted. I thought it would look good with the Damascus blade, and to me it does. So that's kind of just a personal preference thing. He has a bunch of other designs with a bunch of other clips, a bunch of, handle scales. He even goes all the way into making the Zircuti knife scales for certain knives, which are insanely expensive. You can buy a Spyderco smock installed with Zircuti handle scales and maybe even a clip. Don't quote me on the clip, but I know you can get full Zircuti scales on both sides with the Spyderco smock for about $800 to $1,000. But Zircuti isn't cheap. Whenever I get around to doing my arcane design video, that's one thing we will talk about. But as far as this knife, is it worth the price? When we have full titanium on the handle scales, we definitely have a nice Damascus on the blade that is done better than most VG-10 Damascus. And this was not made in China. This was made in Japan, which is going to cost a little more than a knife that's made in China. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. The knife is around $210 to $215, depending on where you get it. I would say that's a little bit pricey. Some of that cost you are paying for the name of Spyderco. But, you know, this is kind of a thing of look over function. If you really like the look of this knife, you're probably going to get it. And if you don't, you probably aren't. Because there's plenty of Delicas out there. If you like the design of the Delica, but you don't want to pay this price tag, you know, you can get Delicas for under $100, easy. Bunch of different colors, you know, with coated blades, not coated blades, you know, they're everywhere. You can even get some custom Delicas from places for under $200. However, if you want a Damascus Delica with titanium handles, that $210 to $215 is the price point you're going to pay, unless you find it on sale, which happens from time to time. I know Knife Center has a wood-handled one with a Damascus blade for under $200, and you can find some FRN plastic handles with Damascus blades for, you know, between $100 and $150 when in stock at some places. But you will not find the titanium and Damascus blade one for under $200. So it's just kind of the look that I wanted, and so I got it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like my Delica with this clip on it? Or do you guys think the standard clip looks better? Or should I have went with something a little cheaper, like a Lynch clip? I will be doing a knife journey video that will be posted this Friday. Kind of talking about how I came to be a knife collector. So keep an eye out for that. If you guys kind of want to hear my story on knives. But other than that, thank you for watching and have a good day.